Amen to you. Amen to everyone chiming in right now. Let's talk about this next story. Kidney transplant. So there's this life-changing surgery that's on hold for one 2-year-old. Why?
Yeah. So a little boy was born without kidneys, unfortunately. Sad turn of events. But they did find a donor for him, which was his father. Unfortunately, the father got arrested. He had previous charges stemming from some things that he did in the past. But the judge and the court system worked to get him out of prison in time. On October 2nd, the boy was scheduled to have the surgery on the 3rd, but midway through, he was stopped. Not because of there was a problem with the transplant, maybe he wasn't a match, but the hospital put a halt on it because they said they wanted evidence that Dickerson, that's the father's last name, was complying with his parole officer for the next 3 months. After that, a doctor said he could be reevaluated for the transplant program in January. And it's unclear why the hospital changed the plan, because initially they were on board to do the transplant surgery until he was arrested again and was released.
That's too bad for the kid.
Yeah.
So who suffers
Don't
in
let the
this?
kid suffer.
So now the conversation is, the mom is saying, my son shouldn't be punished for his father's sins. Like, what does this have to do with the boy, and what does this, even if the father was convicted and let's say he was still in jail at the same time, what does that have to do with anything? He has a kidney, and there's a kidney right here, and he's a match. So they're going through this. Oh, and this is the little boy right here, and his mommy and his dad holding him.
This seems like it's one of these things that just spun out of control, because the whole point of a hospital, and if you're a doctor, you pledge an oath that your whole career is to benefit the patients and to better their lives. So if everyone's on board and then someone in some department says, well, wait a second, and there's some this, that, or the other thing, paperwork, and then they get involved. We all know this happens in every business. You get this situation where they just want to make this happen. And now there's some paper trail that says that it can't happen. This is when they go to the media and tell the story, and we're on board. If this, I mean, can you imagine life without a kidney, and your dad has a kidney and you're ready to go, and then now you get a piece of paper that says, no, we can't do this for X, Y, and Z. And we all know that it's some sort of red tape or something like that. Yeah. I mean, this is when the moment for everyone to do better can happen. Part of prison and jail rehabilitation is that they encourage you to make better choices for your life. Right. Dad's trying to do that. This is the moment where it could happen, and they need to get out of the way.
Do we know what kind of crimes he's been convicted of?
Yes, so we do have that information. It's a parole violation. He was originally arrested and, wait, hold on. Keep talking, I have that.
Yeah, Kimberly Morgan says, this story breaks my heart, Edward. The hospital is totally wrong. They are going against their oath to save lives, to your point.
That's what it is.
Glenn McBurney Jr., so wrong if he's been released already. Prayers for the family. That's where I'm a little confused.
So, okay, Dickerson was on probation following a history of theft and forgery charges. Okay. But he was found outside of Atlanta in possession of a firearm. But what the court did, they knew that he had this hospital procedure coming up for the son, so they lowered his bond to $2,000 and made sure that he was getting out of jail on bond ahead of the surgery. So the court did whatever they needed to do to make sure that this was going to happen, even though he was arrested. But the hospital did say in their statement that what they do is transplant decisions regarding donors are made based on many medical, social, and psychological factors. So that's the hospital saying. So maybe in their opinion, if he commits a crime or has a history of criminal activity, that to them, their decision is based on, like they said, medical, psychological, and social factors. So maybe they loop that in under that.
I had wondered if he had a history of violent crime, and then they thought perhaps he would put other patients at risk, but I don't hear any of that in his history. There's no reason they shouldn't take this guy's kidneys.
I think at the very end of the day, yeah, like I don't care what crime you committed. If your body is able to help out a young person who has done no wrong in this world, didn't ask to be in this world, and that is your own blood and your son, you should have to do that. I mean, it should be like a requirement. Like you need to help. Like that's the least you can do if you've done wrong? I don't know.
I just base all my decisions about things I learn in movies. And the #1 movie at the box office right now is Happy Death Day, and there's a serial killer in the hospital, and it's not a good thing.
Oh.
You don't want that to happen.
Well, it's like John Q, Denzel Washington movie from some years back.
Yeah.
He wanted to give his son needed a transplant. They couldn't afford it. They were about to kick the son out of the hospital, and John Q came into the hospital and took matters into his own.
Oh, did he? The plot.
Now, I'm not condoning. I'm not saying that's the route, but
right.
if we're going off movies.
If we're going off movies, I've never seen that movie.
Call Denzel. Maybe he can help.
Love Denzel. I'm sure he'll have something to say.
Better.
Denzel can help.
But they should take this guy's kidneys.
Yeah.
It's not like he has bad kidneys and it's going to make the kids start to turn to
Yeah, it's like this is a no-brainer.
Yeah, and the boy was born without any kidneys.
Right.
So he needs it now.
Right.
Yeah, let's see. Kimberly Morgan, this is a baby, so to speak. The hospital needs to overlook their principles when it comes to perfect matches. I was thinking maybe because of drugs would be the reasons, but we're not seeing that.
That's understandable. If the kidney is damaged and it's going to put the kid in worse health, then that's a medical reason to not do it. But
right, which is out of our...
You saw the paperwork. That's coming from somewhere else.
Well, Misty Dawn Triggs, I've already signed a petition that they appeal their decision on AJ's kidney transplant and choose to perform the operation ASAP. So there's a petition going around now, according to Misty Dawn Triggs, and she has signed it.
There we go.
It just doesn't make sense. I wonder if there's something they can't disclose, they're not disclosing.
Right.
There may be.
Maybe, but I hope he gets that kidney transplant.
Absolutely.
Enough of us are talking about it, right?
Yeah.